Did you get a plate?
No, yeah, it's over there on the counter.
A few years ago, we did it like summer as a gift.
Thank you. Did you get a plate yet?
Well, I guess let's get started, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Huge turnout, beautiful. So we might have to be selective with, we only have so much that we can cook.
No.
So we might have to be selective that maybe one person gets this kind and the other person gets this kind, because we just only have a little bit. One thing I want to do, only if you're up to it, so we have newsletters, we have information, and we'd love to contact you guys later after the event. If you want to leave some information for you, we'd love to kind of contact you and tell you more about us after that, if that's something that you're interested in. So what we're going to start off first is we're going to start a little education. Who here knows kind of about mushrooms, the process, anything about it? Anybody? Okay, so a couple of us. So basically what I'm going to do is just walk through our process and the hows and whys. Any questions, just feel free to stop me because it's so much fun to talk about really a lot of details and real specifics. So the first thing that we do is this is a used one, normally this is full, but we take liquid culture and we're going to autoclave it so it's totally sterile. And then we take a clipping of a mushroom, and we do all this in our lab, which we're happy to show you that, so it's very sterile in here. So everything I do out here is not proper way to do it, because it's dirty out here. So everything I'm doing, I'm just going to throw away, because it's not the right way to do it. So we make our liquid culture, and then we take a clipping of our sample, and then we place it in here to grow. And our liquid culture is kind of a sugar base, right? So it's something for the mushroom to eat. And mushrooms are plants, and plants are very different. So this white stuff is actually called mycelium, and this here is essentially the root structure of the mushroom. So where roots and plants, they're not necessarily the same thing, you can think of it that this is the root structure. And we can pass this around. This is a grown out, colonized mycelium. This is king oyster. So this here we're going to put into our substrate, and I'm going to kind of show an example of that. So we let our liquid culture grow out for about 3 to 6 weeks, something like that, and then we need to test it to make sure that it's a clean sample. Because everything with mushrooms has to be hyper sterile. You get any bit of contamination, it's black and white. You're not going to get some weird mushroom, you're not going to get a mushroom. Because the bacteria will outperform the mycelium and just take over. So what we're going to show here is just a tiny example of just kind of what we do in the lab work. So again, everything here, I would have gloves on, I'd be in a jacket, I'd be in the lab there over our laminar flow hood. But what we do is our Petri plate. So we get our needle. And here what we're doing is going to test the liquid that it is sterile. So we're going to get a little bit of liquid. And then what we do so if the flow hood would be in front of me here blowing this way. A laminar flow hood, so like a regular fan is going to move air like this, and it's very aggressively moving. The flow hood, it makes all of the air perfectly linear. So if a contaminant were to come down in front of the flow hood, it goes directly this way. Where a regular fan, it might like twist around, and you can't really control it very well. So in front of this flow hood, you have a bit of a shield. So what we do with this is just a Petri plate with some agar in it. And I wouldn't open this like this in this example because it would be instantly dirty. Like if I were to close this and sit this for a couple weeks, it would have grown tons of bacteria. It's very interesting. So in front of this flow hood, we take just a little bit of our liquid and we just drop just a tiny bit into it. And then we close it up. And really the technique is what you do is if the flow hood is coming this way, you open it just barely, squeeze it in and close it. Because you want this as open as little as possible. Then what we'll do is take our parafilm, this is for lab work here, and this is going to kind of seal the edges. And again, we don't really open this normally, but it's very loose. So if I set this on the shelf and even a little like that, you can get contaminant. So you take this parafilm and you kind of seal the edges. And So now that's sealed, so I can kind of do whatever I want with it, and it's safe. I could have it now in a dirty environment, essentially, like it's pretty dirty out here. I could, in theory, have this set, and it would grow safe here. Then I'm gonna document what it is. This one was king oyster, and I'm gonna put the date, the generation, things like that on it. So I have a little bit of literature because we have a bunch of these in batch, so we don't wanna get them confused. And then we're gonna let this grow out for 1 to 2 weeks, and we're looking for health, just like that one. It's pure white, it's beautiful. If something is wrong, you know it's wrong. You're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, that doesn't look right. Then you've got a problem, you gotta discard. So once we have proven that our agar is appropriate, we take our liquid culture and we make bulk syringes like this. These are 10 mLs, and this is the same liquid. And again, this is just kind of show and tell here. So what we do is, this is our grain, this is oat. So this is a dry, we didn't have any wet available today. So normally this is soaked, and I'll explain how to soak in just a moment. But what we're gonna do is inoculate our liquid culture into our grain. So what we do there, and again, this is in a sterile environment, I've cleaned everything, and everything is sanitized. So we open our liquid, or excuse me, our needle, and this is a self-healing patch. Because we don't want to make a hole, and that hole potentially can get contaminant in it. So again, that's why we use these. So we stick this in here, and I like to do kind of 3 locations. So I'm going to use all 10. In theory, I could just do a tiny little boop, and that would be enough, and it would grow out. The more liquid, the faster it's going to colonize. So I like to use all 10, and I'm going to do it in 3 different locations. I'm going to kind of do it the side, in the middle, and then over here. And then from here, this is a self-healing. Sometimes we'll put tape there, but it's a self-healing port, so this is good to go. So then we're gonna label this, what gene, what date, things like that. If there's relative information, we're gonna date that because we go through a lot of these. And we're gonna set this on the shelf for 4 to 6 weeks, and when it looks like that bag, it's ready to go. So certain species grow at certain rates, and when it looks like that bag, it's ready to go. So then what we're gonna do is inoculate our substrate. So inoculation, that term means just transfer, taking something to something. So this is our substrate. We use soybean hull and oak for this. So it's just a 50-50 blend. And this here we have in our pressure cooker. I guess let's talk about this. So our autoclave, does anybody know the difference between an atmospheric cooker and an autoclave? So the difference is going to be, this comes to pressure. So this will bring up to 15 psi, and it gets, with a higher pressure, you can have higher temperature, because water boils at, I don't actually know what our altitude, but at 0, it's like 212 or something like that. So if you have more pressure, you can have higher temperature for the liquid. So at 15 psi, we can get to like 160 degrees plus the pressure. So we can sterilize things in this faster. In this guy, we can fit 56 of these substrate bags in here, but we have to cook this for 16 to 18 hours. And this we can get away with maybe 2 hours. But obviously this is huge, and we've scaled so we can grow a lot of material. So that's kind of the difference here. So this is already sterilized and ready to go. And then here what we're gonna do is we take our liquid culture, our grain, and we're in front of the flow hood. And our technique when we like to open this is we just take it and rip it open like that. Kind of like a milk jug. We make a little I think I messed that one up. I'll do this other side. So it's just a little triangle like this. And I'm always leaving, once this is open, because this is now colonized, we're in front of that flow hood, I always want that opening in front of my little force field. Because any contaminant, it's over. Then from here, we're gonna open this guy. And again, flow hood's this way. I'm gonna softly open this. And then we're gonna take some of our grain. Put about that much in per bag. Then we're gonna seal it. So these are called gussets, the bags. I like to open the gussets so they're all the way. And I never want to have my hands inside. Because even though I'm fully gloved, I'm sterilized, contaminant is so small you just don't know. So it's best practice to never hold like this. So if you have some kind of crinkle, you really want to fight to like be on the outside to resolve that issue. So I'm kind of doing this to open the gussets. I'm going to lean it on my table, and then we're going to seal it. And kind of a fun part, but it's tough when you're doing like 100 of them because you get very tired. So we're sealed. So we kind of do a pressure test where we come in here and feel, and as long as that air isn't like quickly coming out, that's sealed. So now we're going to shake it up. So I kind of like to take my fists and I kind of open it like that, and then we just kind of rotate it around. And kind of what we're doing, so each one of these grains at this point, like that white mycelium bag, each one of these grains is a vehicle to grow faster. In theory, I could put one single grain in here and it would grow out. It would just take forever. So the more grain, the faster the colonization. So we want to get a really good mix in here. And you can tell the dark and the light. So this is the soybean hull and this is the oat. Excuse me, oak. And the oat is that one. I always get them mixed up. So you want to make sure that's evenly spread because the soybean is the protein that it will eat, and this, the oat, is the kind of the just a median or something like that. So we want to get it all mixed up. We'll just say that's mixed up. Then once it's fully grown out, it's going to look something like this. This one is chestnut. And this one is blue oyster. And you can tell just a little bit the difference. Lion's mane is more of a light wispy look. Pink oyster, which we actually have back there, is literally pink. The bag's pink. Very cool. So these are just example grow kits. We have these for sale back here. And what we're going to do is once we're at this stage, we're going to open them up.
So what we do is we cut nice big X's on top of the bag for the chestnut and the lion's mane. We like to call that fruiting up top. Our chestnuts have stems, so we want them to grow as if they're growing out of the ground and having nice beautiful stems and nice beautiful caps. This is introducing air. We cover up the filter patch and we fold it like this, and that way we can control where they're fruiting from. And once that's like that, we get our blue oyster right here. Blue oyster is a little different. Fruit it out the side here, and that way it can grow like it's on a tree. So we make a little Z right there. They sense the oxygen again, and they start fruiting. Like us, mushrooms breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, and looking for light and water, and they have their food inside this mixture right here. The soy hull and the wood. Basically replicating what they do if they're eating out in the wild. You know, they're growing out of a tree, they're actually eating that tree. And when they're fruiting to spread their genetics and their spores. So, yeah.
Mushrooms are so resilient. So I talk about how clean this needs to be at this time. And because there's no mycelium growth here, that bag, or even these, or that other bag, the mycelium is grown so strong that it's very good at fighting off material, that if I were to let this sit here for a week, it would fruit right here. Even though it's very dirty in here, the mycelium is so strong. Oh, look at this. Okay, so these are our spent bag. Okay.
So yeah, these are our spent bags, any bags that we're done with or we see contamination. As you can see right there, there's a little bit of mold, discoloration right there. That's the mold. These are what our chestnuts would look like, especially out in the wild, I think, for sure. But they're resilient enough to where this one cell organism is able to fight off bacteria to be able to grow and to spread their genetics and their spores. So it's really cool that they're able to fight that off, and then once they're ready, you just pick them like this and you got a nice big old cluster right there.
If it has mold on it, you're not.
That's why we discard it.
So this is a discard.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
And
is going
it's
to the
interesting.
trash.
So we have a lady that buys our spent bags. So you know what I didn't talk about? With mushrooms, you can do multiple flushes, as they're called, multiple harvests. So like this here, in theory, I think is our second flush, because we just do one flush where a session grows, we harvest it, and then you could wait more and it would regrow. But we just, out of efficiency reasons, we don't do that. We just do a one flush system. And this particular one, I don't know if that was flush 1 or whatever.
I'm sure it was the second flush, because
Okay.
then we saw the guy. Whenever you see contamination in your grow, you just get rid of it, because once you see it, it's too late. The spores have already spread, sent up. It's going to contaminate your whole grow. So that's another good reason why you do one flush, even though you can do many. If you're having a grow like this, where you have multiple bags at stake, you just don't want a chance.
So why these come to me, we have a lady that I want to say feeds them to her chickens. For her
She-
garden?
Yeah, for her garden. What do you call it?
She puts them in compost or something.
Composting.
And we just sell these for $1 a spent bag. And by no means these are edible, like this mushroom. I know it looks beautiful, but like it's been out in this gross area. But this is lion's mane. We have an example of lion's mane in the tent, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, let's grab
Let's
that.
pull that up.
Well, actually, we have a fresh, beautiful lion's mane here. We'll harvest right in front of you guys. And I think we'll actually cook that. We have some here. But lion's mane is our #1 seller. I think you were talking about lion's mane when you come in.
Yeah, me and
I
Casey.
forget you.
Yeah, we eat them for like supplements, not supplements. I mean,
The
just
nutrition.
pills. Yeah, the pill
Yeah.
form.
We do sell the tincture. Unfortunately, we're out at the moment. We'll have more tomorrow. But this is our tincture. We actually make this tincture in-house. And we have been selective breeding our lion's mane for nearly 2 years now. Now, just like an animal, you selective breed, you breed it, you find the best quality that you like of that thing, and then you rebreed that. So like when I'm making my liquid culture, wherever that went, I take a sample of that version that I like of it, and I put it in liquid culture, and we repeat that every month. So we've been doing that for 2 years. So our lion's mane, in my opinion, is probably one of the best because it's just beautiful, healthy, and you'll see when he pulls it out here. So our lion's mane in particular is our #1 seller. Oh yeah, check this
Oh
out.
my god. That's so good. She's a celebrity.
I feel like I'm holding up Simba right here.
So this is a beautiful sterile product. This is ready to sell. We're actually gonna, I think, gonna cook with some of it, right?
Heck yeah.
And interesting, right? It's beautiful.
I know. Like, it's like we're at a concert or something.
So the teeth you see here, so like a regular mushroom, we pull these chestnuts out of the trash. A regular mushroom has these gills on the backside, and it's going to spore from there. Lion's mane doesn't. It doesn't look like a mushroom, does it? It is a mushroom. It's going to spore from these teeth. And how you can control the size of these teeth is with different oxygen levels in the room. So anyway, difference. I don't know if this interests anybody. Should I pass this around? Does that interest anybody? It's just trash. You know, don't nibble on that one. So right now we're growing lion's mane, chestnut, pink oyster, blue oyster, golden oyster, king mushroom. I think we have black pearl coming up. I think we have black pearl here in a couple weeks.
We
I've never
gotta
seen
we
this in
gotta
a
get our
while.
temperatures down cooler.
Okay.
So that's another thing too. Every mushroom, almost every mushroom, has their own special temperature that they'll pin at, that they'll grow at. Our lion's mane, our golden, and our pink love to fruit around 70 degrees. That's why we mostly have those right now. Once it gets a little cooler, it'll get down. We'll have our chestnut oysters, our chestnuts, our black oysters, our blue oysters, and our king trumpets as well.
Okay, so we're gonna cook as well, but as far as the how, the grows, things like that, does anybody have questions, thoughts, curiosities? Like, what you got?
So with the liquid culture, before you put it into the grain, it's already almost inoculated with the strain of mushroom that you wanted to put into it. So say you wanted to do like the oyster, you put like a sample into the liquid culture, which is like a sugar mixture, and then it grows throughout the liquid culture, and then you put it into the grain.
Yes, and are you basically asking why that process?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why is to get more from that sample. I could, in theory, take, I don't know if it would work, but if I took a sample of this and put it right into substrate,
Yeah.
it might grow. I bet it would dry out. I bet it would dry out. So the reason for the liquid is to get more volume from that individual sample. Because on the In this, I can make 40
Yeah.
syringes. So I
Yeah.
can make 40 of these, and each one of these bags can make up to 10 substrates.
Yeah.
So I can control the genetics better that way, because I know I like this one. That's why we test on Petri plates as well. So I know this entire jar is sterile and is just whatever species that I did. We have
There's some,
samples.
yeah.
Do we have a dirty one at all?
I could go check. I don't think
We
so.
don't get contaminant much. We've got
Yeah,
the system down.
if we see something dirty, like I said with that bag, we toss it. But these are some ready to go. So I got a chestnut on my right hand, blue oyster on my left. You can see the difference in the mycelium actually. The chestnuts kind of almost look like the chestnut mushroom, how it has those brown spots. And then this is nice and white and happy mycelium right here. These are nice and colonized, looking beautiful. That's how we know our stuff's clean.
We can pass those around if you want. And just as an example, that is a clean one. That's the one I just did here. So it's going to grow out to that. And a technique, if you ever do this, is so the agar is here on the bottom. When you store it, you want to store it upside down so you don't get condensation. Because that it might help a slime mold replicate a little faster, so we always store them upside down. We like to do this so the liquid can like get into the agar better, but then we store them upside down. So those are beautiful samples there. Awesome, great question. Did that answer enough for you? Think?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How difficult is this to do at home?
Okay, interesting. At home, the number one issue is sterilization. So the easiest way at home is to either make a still box, which I hate, but it is. Have you heard that? So you basically take two plastic, like a storage container, like clear ones, and you make a shell out of it or whatever, and make little holes. So you're like, I hate it, really frustrating. But you're basically trying to make an environment that there's not moving air. An example that I have heard of is people will go in their bathrooms, turn the HVAC off, shut the door, and just chill out in there because it's very still in there. There's not much movement. And even if there's contaminant in the room, if you're just still enough, it'll float down. And if you're very slow with your movements, you're not really stirring that air up. And so how difficult is it to do at home? With the right techniques, it's very good. You can have a perfect product, but if you were to go into this start, know that you're going to mess it up many times. The frustration will be very high, but you just have to keep learning. Like here, when we were about 2 years old, I think for the first, because I knew nothing about mushrooms when I started, nothing, and virtually. And first 3 months, just batch after batch, hundreds of dollars of just wasted material because I was just making crap. So education is going to be I don't know if that answers.
No, yeah. I mean,
But what we do here is like, so this guy, Chestnut, that one we'll pass along, we actually can sell this one if your guys are interested. But we have more on the table there of other species. Do we have chestnut over there? Anyway, so like this is already fully grown out. So to answer your question, you can set this on your table, not look at it again in a week or two, you're gonna have mushroom. What we do suggest is we have a little spray bottle that we sell with each kit that you mist the top 2 or 3 times a day because you're trying to keep the moisture in the bag. You're not necessarily trying to add moisture, but because it's open, you're gonna get some evaporation. So you're just trying to re-put liquid in the bag. So here is easy. Just set it on your counter, you're gonna get a mushroom because we've done all the hard work. And I think
I like that part.
Yeah.
I'm great with this. Yeah. Okay.
And we sell all the lab work. Let's say I want to inoculate a home. I want to do all this. We sell all the needles, all the substrates, all that. Because some people get off on that excitement of it.
Yeah.
But we sell just this, that you're going to get a mushroom. And then we sell just the fruit. If you're like, screw that, I just want the fruit today. You know. So I don't know.
No, that's perfect.
YouTube has a lot of good videos too on
Yeah,
home
yeah.
tech. Like I don't know if you've heard of Uncle Ben's tech, where you take Uncle Ben's wheat, rice. Yeah, so just as long as it's any whole grain,
The
it'll
instant-
grow on. The
It's already
instant
went
one, yeah.
inside the instant
Yeah,
pack for
yeah.
$1 or whatever.
It's already clean. You just inoculate that. And you got some grains going at home, but like Samson said, we sell the grains too, and this step's really easy for sure. We've taken out all the hard work and yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay, so when obviously, well, I'm not sure if if you find mold or there's something that goes wrong with the growing process and you don't catch it, can you get very sick?
No, oh, I guess like in this instance, I mean, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, like
imagine.
what's the, it's in
Well, it's
what
like
we're gonna
that
die or
moldy
thing
piece
that-
of bread, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
all that's growing here is trig, and it's like eating this moldy strawberry.
Oh, okay,
It
I
might-
see what you're saying.
It's
It's
not
not
gonna kill
like
you.
we've like harbored some type of crazy mold.
No, it wouldn't. Like it might just like. I think that moldy strawberry is a great example.
Okay, good.
Would you want to eat it?
Yeah.
Probably not, but like you could maybe. You know?
Yeah, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
The risk of the contamination spreading to our other growers.
To our other what?
Our other grow bags.
Oh, grow bag, okay, yeah, the other mushrooms, because it's
Because
so
if
sensitive.
contaminant starts at this level, because there's zero growth here.
Yeah.
If there was any, even the smallest amount of contaminant in this bag, it would instantly take over. And this
Yeah.
beautiful white, this would be slimy gross. Like you would instantly look at it and be like, nope.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and that, it will never grow mushroom. So we need to get any contaminant out of the tent, so when it's at this stage, it doesn't destroy the whole batch. So that's why we need to pull it out very quickly if we see that. But once it's at this level, this mycelium is so strong, it can fight off bacteria just fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, more fine than this, I should say.
Yeah, that's why you need them.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
I know you guys were talking about like temperatures and stuff. Does any mushroom like take longer to grow? Like does any grow like take longer to fully grow?
Yeah, they definitely have different growing times. I think I want to say our golden oysters are probably our fastest growers, especially from pinning. Once you see them pin, they pop out really quick.
Within 3 or 4 days, you're getting like from like this to this. Like,
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and then I think our
What we found like lion's mane in the winter, because we don't like we'll cool our room, but in the winter we don't necessarily heat it. It slows down maybe a week in the winter months because it's just cold in here. So like in that example, it just slows the process. But like king oyster, this guy here, it only will pin. So the term pinning. Do you want to explain pinning? That term?
yeah. So pinning is basically your very first signs that your mushroom is growing. It's a tiny white dot basically. Or with our golden oysters and pink oysters, they're more like clumps. It's almost like a clump, but it's the first step in the mushroom growing process. Baby mushrooms. So once it's done pinning, that's when it's going to start to fully grow out.
And king mushroom won't even start pinning above 65 degrees. So king, we actually had to install like an AC system in our grow area to get it to even start pinning. If that answers your
Yeah,
question.
for
There's
sure.
always like a bunch of answers, to
Yeah.
that question. Anything else? Okay.
We go get firewood all the time.
Usually we have our packages out like this, ready to get them. We weigh them heavier than a 1/4 pound. But, so for this little part right here, it's just a nice, like a cut the top out like that, just has the X's, so it makes it pretty easy to
It looked just like this one when we cut it, just those X's.
just a nice peel up the back. And it has that substrate right there, and you can just get a knife and cut it off. In fact, that's what we're gonna do.
If you get any of a product and substrate is on it, again, this is just soybean hull, so it's the soybean casing. So the beans are not in it, it's just the casing, and then it's just that hard wood. So if you were to eat this, it's not dirt. It's more just like you're popping sawdust in your mouth. So if this were in your cook, it's not
Just some
bad.
extra fiber.
Yeah, it's not dirt, you know.
We're all good.
So our lion's mane is really cool too. I like the texture of it. It peels almost like a perfectly good chicken here. So it has like a nice meaty texture. Does look like broccoli too, huh? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tear it up. We're gonna make some boneless buffalo wings.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'll make this vegan version at home.
So we got some red hot Winks buffalo sauce right here. I'm just gonna roll it up in here real quick. This is also gonna be our binder for we got some Ritz crackers here for our crumbs.
Did you want to use this guy?
Yeah, let's throw some of that too. Just gonna roll it up in here.
So, well, this obviously takes a few minutes to cook, and we're gonna try to cook as much as we can for everybody. So if you guys wouldn't mind, kind of get some questions while it's cooking, that way we're not just kind of sitting in silence while it's cooking, so we can have some back and forth about some nonsense.
What kind of mushrooms would you guys be if you were a mushroom?
That's a good question.
Maybe the death cap, right?
Oh yeah, no, ain't
That's the
nobody
one that
gonna
would
eat me
kill.
then.
What's a death cap?
It's the one that would kill.
Oh.
So the death cap is actually very interesting. It looks like just a white button mushroom. I mean, obviously it's a little different, but if I'm getting this wrong a little bit, I apologize, but it's essentially the case. You eat it, and you're gonna get really sick day 1, but then like day 2, you're like, I'm better. And then day 3, you're dead.
Wow.
It like shuts your liver down or something like that.
Is that
So-
what frozen
I
my
like it.
What's that?
Is it
False
what
death.
frozen my lawn was a little-
No, I don't think those are.
What are the most common mushrooms found?
Oh, morels in
Right
there.
here.
He goes foresting all the time. I love it.
Yeah, I found some good morels. I think though, I mean the most common ones, if you're getting technical with it, probably just your common garden mushrooms, the little LBM, little brown mushrooms is what they're called. And there's those. As far as edible ones though, I would say oysters. We found some great oysters. Actually, I have some in my backyard growing out of a tree. It's really cool. Just wild ones. I moved in with them like that.
Those are the ones I
But morels, you can find morels here. I know people have found. Another good one are. I think porcini is another one, or the aspen boletes, king boletes. Those are really fun to find because they're big. Nice orange cap. Some of them you can eat, not too much though, just because it's been known, or some have been found to cause a little bit of stomach indigestion.
What areas do you typically go to forage when you're doing that? I won't reveal your secret spot, but
It definitely depends on the mushroom. A good way to know is personally, I go on like the mushroom Facebook sites and people will post pictures of morels and sometimes the elevation. The elevation is really important as well as the location. For morels, for instance, you definitely want to look somewhere where there's been forest fire recently. For some reason, they love to grow where there's been some type of disaster.
Acidity, maybe? Soil?
So all we've done here is buffalo and some kind of breading. So we have like a beer bread here, and then literally just Ritz crackers. We've tried egg with it. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. We've tried egg with it, but I just didn't care for the texture. We get more of that fluffy. So we use just the buffalo as the binder.
So how else do you cook these type of mushrooms?
So we're actually going to also saute some with some salt, pepper, and then some of this guy here. How else? You want to talk about the sauteing kind of process a little bit?
Yeah. Cooking it like a steak too, a nice golden brown on each side is amazing. You want to make sure to get most of the water weight out first before you add any oils, butters, or tallows. And that will make it so that whatever you're using, it just gets soaked right up like a sponge. That's a really good way to use it.
Wait, so
How do you
you're
cook
cooking it
water?
like a steak, you wanna put it in the pan with nothing.
Yep, first you want to get it around medium-high heat. Yep, cook off that water weight, golden brown each side. After that, then you add your oils, your butter, your tallow, garlic, onions, your spices. I'm trying to think of what I've used in the past. Thyme, tarragon, they're really good. It just really soaks up that flavor. I haven't used tallow yet, but I feel like cooking this with tallow would just take it to the next level. Oh my goodness.
Duck fat's pretty great.
Oh yeah. Can I make a request before you guys saute? Can we try a few like without any sauces? Just
Oh yeah,
add
just
some
yeah.
natural
I like
Of
that.
course.
100%.
I just want to try some.
Now you cook these, you don't eat them raw.
You definitely want to cook all your mushrooms because it's made up of what's called chitin, same thing as lobster shell is made out of, and we can't digest it. So in order to release the benefits, you either need an alcohol extraction or heat extraction. So there's the heat, or with our tinctures there, we actually use both alcohol and heat extraction.
What about like raw mushrooms?
So
Is that a different kind of mushroom?
You're just getting texture out of that. So you're gonna get some nutrient value out of that, like that, your regular button. But it's more just for flavor and texture. You're not getting like nutrient out of that.
Okay.
Because you gotta have that heat extract to break down that cellular bond.
there are actually mushrooms, a mushroom called the beefsteak mushroom that is actually really low on that chitin content, and you're actually able to eat that raw. Yeah, for sure.
So I am trying to make enough for everybody because lion's mane is my favorite, but there's just a lot of us, right? So be patient with us, please. If you got a big piece and you like your neighbor, maybe take a bite and have them take a bite.
Oh, we were like,
Only if you like your neighbor.
just came out.
So the texture of lion's mane, if it's your first time eating it, it's wet. It's a little bit, I don't think gooey is the right word. It's different, okay? So it's not a chicken nugget. It's not like that flavor, but just accept that this is different and
I
like it, you know?
It tastes like jackfruit.
You sell mushrooms fruit in bulk.
I literally
Yeah. So we can actually grow, so we're very small as you can tell.
Yeah.
But we have, I mean, like our barrel here in our grow tent, we can produce up to maybe 300 to 400 pounds per week of any given mushroom. We're not doing that currently right now.
Yeah. I just wondered,
So,
like,
yes,
lead time if
wholesalers, yeah.
we're so at a restaurant, so we want to have like a lead time of a couple months. Hey, we want to grow this in a couple months. And serve this.
Uh-huh.
We have to grow.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, and we can offer great pricing to accommodate, so that way you get your margins as well.
Sweet.
Are you willing to do off-site education?
What's that?
Off-site education?
I think so. I think there might be a fee to that, but we can negotiate that. I mean, really what we're trying to do is our main, as I'm talking with my hands like this. Actually went on a date with a girl and we were eating hot wings, and man, she didn't wipe her hands once. And you know, it wasn't actually unattractive. It was like, so her hands were like this the whole deal. So, I think we just need to figure out a little side story about Sam's.
She did a second date.
He's like, no.
Yeah, we're so.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think a fee, I mean, we're just tiny, so we're trying to grow our brand, and that's more important to us than the money part right now, because if we can grow our brand, it's gonna pay for itself, kind of thing. So it just depends, I think we can talk about that privately if you wanna kind of have more of that conversation.
Yeah, our company is just really big on education as well as relationships. So those people that we're actually, like, we work with Harvard Farms, we work with Sub Farms, we just like to invite them onto our campus during harvest time, which you guys could be anytime, but just to talk about your product, talk about your process, just so that the rest of our company gets to know you, gets to know your product. So that's why I bring
Yeah,
it
we
up.
love that, I like that, that's awesome.
Nickel.
This next batch is coming up, it looks like we have
I just started them, yeah, there's
13 or 15 little chunks, so again, if you like your neighbor, have them take a bite too. Making sure the temperature stays a little warmer.
Michael Brennan.
Yeah?
Heck, yeah.
You're their weight. So we sell these packages up front here for $6.50 each package. Yeah. So each one of these are $6.50. We have these obviously plenty up front. If you're interested in taking anything home.
How much is a grow kit?
$35. We're doing the ones in back for $25 today. A few of them are, everything back there will grow a mushroom, but a few of those back there, you'll see they're already kind of pre-growing because they're just been sitting a minute. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just, the yield might be different.
They need a good home. They're ready.
Yeah.
They need to be
I have
grown.
a great home.
Oh, yeah.
It's the dark side
Oh,
of
look,
farms.
the brain. He's gonna have his own little grow tent and buy next
All right, so I got a handful here. Who's up?
Start at this row right here. This row back.
What are all the types of mushrooms you guys sell? Like all the species?
So, blue oyster, black oyster, pink oyster, golden oyster,
Yeah, I did get some.
chestnut,
Would you like some?
lion's mane.
I think we're gonna have enough.
We got actually turkey tail on grain, ready to transfer to substrate, and then we'll be making chicken
Just kind of throw that over there. It's funny because we don't have long hair, so where did that come from? I don't have a trash can. I didn't
Who
know
likes
what.
cancer.
It probably came from one of us, so it's fine.
We have a pretty good library. There are those who have more than
I'm
us,
gonna
but
try
you
to
know,
drink next time.
Oh, what?
so we got a nice humble library.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're
One
like,
without.
unless
We got two more guys.
So you guys do the grow kits, the mushrooms, and
Was that everybody?
do you do any other?
you're right.
Okay, I'll show you that.
We also do the liquid culture syringes.
Okay.
We'll sell grain bags. We'll sell substrate bags.
Every part of your
So if y'all don't want it,
wherever you're at.
If we can make it, we'll sell it.
oh, it's not spicy at all.
No, it's hot. But it's
What's your guys' favorite mushroom?
Lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
I say lion's mane and golden oyster, which we'll do next. We're gonna start with some of these, which is a little bit different story. So we had a question about deep frying without bread. Who had that question about no bread? I'll make you one right here. This is for you. So we'll do this last batch, so if anybody wants seconds, please, but there's not enough for seconds for everybody. We'll do this other stuff so you kind of get more experiences with other flavors and things like that.
Let's actually do the goldens in this same thing too.
Why would you say that while I'm doing it?
Nope, we don't use any sprays. I mean, there's no bugs and flies in there. There's no insecticides. Yeah. Yep.
If you were to put that under water, it's going to absorb the water, and you're going to get a bit of a dip flavor. If you had concerns about if there's something wrong with this, you would want to dust. If you needed water, sure. We just know our situation is sanitary, so for those reasons, that's why we did it. It would be situational.
Ones that I found out in the mountains for sure. I'll even just brush them off. Really, I don't even wash them off with water.
That's gonna last a lot longer.
Are you stopping and take some lion's mane rolls tomorrow?
Oh yeah, you can eat all of them. The thing that you don't want to eat is that's the something. It won't hurt you if you do eat it, but
I feel like I'm already squishing it. It feels squishy.
typically
Okay, so I have about 2 pounds. This chick was when I was
Yeah, I was like,
Get away from me.
yeah.
I had like 10 or 12, so just so we know. So just come close to me if you want one.
All the men.
And then I'll give it to you.
Sometimes we do, I mean, it'll keep growing. I won't be throwing out.
Little baby, I'll give you the biggest one.
Might as well. You got the energy to keep growing. Thank you. It's better growing in there.
You got 3 more? 3 more?
Wasted, you know? But,
2 more?
Last one, anybody? So this actually.
So that's what the Lions Day, we're gonna do on golden necklace.
Here's my thing, I want to get
Actually covers your soil so the plants grow. But unfortunately, when it comes to monocrops, we don't want to.
I'm gonna eat it.
So when it's ready, you definitely want to harvest all of it when it's ready. If all of it's ready, you harvest it, and then you can dehydrate it and use it later.
Did anybody dislike it? And it's okay if you didn't like it. Did anybody just like, oh, that's not for me? Anybody? Because I'd be very curious to kind of hear about that. No? No? Okay.
You liked it, Kyle?
Here, I got it.
Oh, really?
Let me get some more crap.
It's also a culinary.
Truly goes down. That's what we used to say.
Learn something about it.
Yeah, so with our golden oysters, they have more of a seafood flavor. I like sounding combination here. It's gonna taste a little bit like calamari.
Oh my god.
I love that. Yeah, I like sounding good. I can pull apart the stems here. This is golden oyster. That's because I'm dumb.
Yeah, the second
Well, you can see.
I go down. Yeah.
I go dumb. You know what I'm saying?
I go stupid.
Go crazy. Go stupid. They love that music so much. You ever go
Wonder how many you have to eat.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, it tastes so good. I want to like grow mushrooms. I want to.
These like frontier ones taste way better than my regular spring time. I'm gonna try and get
Yeah.
I'm gonna squeeze past y'all real quick.
with us
Yeah, I'm literally protecting you with my life because I don't think you've ever tried something like that. I'm about to leave on.
This is my second
yeah, trying them to grill.
Yeah. Now, new grill option. Chicken mushrooms. Who wants mushrooms? Who wants some mushroom on the grill?
Grilled mushroom, a whole
Big one. Oh my gosh. I want to go so bad now. I want to do that.
we're gonna get yeah, I think really cool. We're gonna get a couple of grill kits for the year.
Oh, really?
So we can
Okay,
do it
cool.
together. So
Cool.
we need everybody's help.
Oh my gosh, I
Make
should
sure
have
they're
seen
taking
it.
Yeah.
She's like, no. People there. I'm gonna sit there and watch. You guys are literally gonna. I'm
What
gonna
did you
transfer
think?
to that. I'm gonna transfer to
It was a
that.
good class. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I just called them and like,
So I'm going to
we need a class. And they're like, you got
think about it. I don't know what heck was. Oh yeah. We have 3. Me, Lily, and Jeff. What? Me, you, and Jeff. You know, like, yeah, like. Like this, stop talking. I think he's mixed. I'm asking actually. David told the story and I don't remember where it's from.
This was a real good choice. I gave Brandon their first
And I'm being called off, so this looks like all my food. But if you it's just awkward because I don't know anybody. Crystal? Or Scott? Are they that come in sometimes?
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
When I first saw Crystal, she was hanging out with Sarah, so I thought Sarah was also coming here.
Sarah's like
Alright, this next batch here is going to be buffalo and golden oyster. So it's the same thing with golden oyster. We for sure do not have enough of these for everybody. So there's a couple large ones. So again, if you want to share with your neighbor or skip, that would be nice of everybody. So here, let's see what I can break these up. So I probably have 10 here. These are the fries.
If you guys don't get one, we can share.
Almost on the ground. All right, guys, we have like 5 more. Who else?
over here. I'll grab one for us. Yay.
A couple little guys.
I know you were sure. Okay, you just one.
That's the last one.
I thought you were
We have a couple more coming out. What you got? These are the last ones.
You guys didn't get the top.
That's good.
That was like,
Interesting, right? Who's ever had that one? The saute is going to change the texture quite a bit, and it does feel like a different mushroom, the saute version, which we'll do next. Yeah, so that's good. We only have a little bit of
sounds like a little less mushy, less like
that's golden oyster.
there's like more fiber in it. What are they?
Deep fried pickles in a
But
fried
hold on, are they wedges? What are they?
They're just like, they're like fries.
They're like if you take like a pickle or something that looks like potato.
Yeah. No. It's like pickle. Yes, it's like fries. But it's like in the fridge with like think of like nacho fries from Taco Bell. Yeah, like nacho fries.
Okay, wow, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah, like that shape
hooked.
of fries. So it's a pickle and it's fried.
I'm hooked.
And it comes with like just like spicy ghost pepper ranch.
I'm hooked. Is it Sonic? Okay, I'm going.
Get a large.
I was gonna get opinionated because I do not like wedge pickles.
No wedges.
Wedge? Pickle wedges?
They're spears.
They're good.
All right, so we have a little bit more of the golden oyster buffalo.
Spears, they're
Let's see, I
good.
have 1, 2,
Pickle chips are
3,
amazing.
4, 5,
Fried
6 of
pickle
them.
chips are amazing. I'm
So if
curious.
you had this one earlier, please don't take one. So I have 6 more of this. Give you a nice good one there.
Golden oyster.
Anybody else?
Golden oyster.
So this is golden oyster buffalo. It's the same deep fry, but a golden oyster is the last name. Same breading.
Do you have a cap?
A what?
Yeah, they're all individual like trumpet eels. As I call them. So obviously the round part is the cap. You sure about that? It might be a little spicy. One more, little one. Yeah. Hold out that little pot. Okay, so next we're going to saute. Oh yeah.
Do you want the other half of mine? Have you tried one yet?
Offered it to Chris. Pre-offered it to me.
I didn't think he had one. I knew you had one. But he's back there. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's very nice.
That's how we that's how that
What?
to bring your mouth. Needs mushrooms. Ignore that. That's so Or I can mushroom sandwich.
I think you gotta make it.
We have done this maybe a dozen times, not too many. But we'd love to do more. Like, I mean, this is just as fun for us, I think. You know? We love talking about mushrooms and kind of showing people, and just kind of let people know our brand. The sauteed is this one.
Cal is gonna buy us these roast kits to put in here.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
All
cool.
of us can do it.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll show you that.
If you don't help, you don't get it. So make sure I get a turn to help.
So we're gonna saute some up. Obviously, that takes a few minutes. So if we got, I can tour around, kind of show you the grow room and the lab, things like that. It's a little tight, so it can't fit everybody. But peek your head in there, and we can ask questions or talk about things. If you guys want to follow me, yeah, I mean just kind of.
For tomorrow?
So we're gonna go to the, we're gonna show the lab a little bit.
Not everybody can fit, right?
I'm just gonna peek my head in over the top of everybody else.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like how do you, when you go foraging, you ever worry you're picking when you shouldn't?
Nope, because I don't munch on a hunch. I don't look for anything that I don't know what it is. If I see something, even if it's beautiful looking, I'll take a picture of it. But if it's not a morel or an oyster or a lion's mane, something that I know, I'm not gonna try to mess with it.
Morels are that tall.
I swear I've seen a post on Facebook where somebody was finding one up high.
Yeah, really high.
Yeah, in the Uintas, which is where you're gonna find a lot of good mushrooms. There's a lot of good foraging groups that go out and find them.
Do you go to the Mushroom Society?
I mean, Utah has it.
I have not gone with them, but I'm definitely on the page.
I know
Yeah.
they do like the big parade. I want to see a big parade.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
have to join.
Yeah,
You have to join. I think it's a $25 fee.
for the
per
year.
person. For the year.
And then you can go on all the
You
parades.
can go on all
go
the
to all the
parades,
classes.
yes.
And do like a year festival.
Yes, yes.
Honestly, for $25,
I know, for
pretty good
$25.
deal.